Hello friends, I'm the Otter and this is the RockShox Vivid Ultimate Air Shock, and we're going to see what it takes to make this thing super dialed on your mountain bike. If you go into the video description of this video, watch the preface, the video I linked there before you watch this one to get a better understanding on what's going on. So the first thing we got to know about the RockShox Vivid Ultimate Air Shock is this shock is sensitive to air pressure and tokens. It's a U-shock, so I'm going to open it up and check what's inside of it. Releasing the pressure super slowly is a very important step so the shock doesn't scrunch down and cause some serious damage later on. So we need to push the air can down, and it is not an easy process. The fit and finish on these is very tight. Pushing the air can up towards the head of the shock will expose this clip. It removes fairly easily. But then we need to slide the air can back down the opposite direction we did it to expose the clip, and we have it exposed. So you're capable of putting a lot of tokens inside of this shock, but don't put too many. If you are dealing with a brand new shock like this Levo Pacific RockShox Vivid, there's no need to open up the tokens first right away. So I'm going to start out with 2 tokens inside of my 230 by 65 generic used RockShox Vivid Ultimate, because I know this shock is super linear because they have the touchdown technology and it's supposed to be the most coil-like air shock on the market. So basically, ideally, in a perfect world, when we set the sag, we would have rebound full fast, compression wide open, but we're dealing with the people shock here, so we're just gonna get into the ballpark. So we got high speed compression in the middle, low speed compression in the middle, hydraulic bottom out, full off. And ideally, you would go ride this with the 1 token or no tokens installed, and then put the tokens in later. But I have a lot of experience with this shock and my bike, and the way I ride is huck to flat. So basically I'm gonna need a whole bunch of ramp up. So that's why I'm starting out with 2 tokens. It's completely up to you. This is one of the hardest air cans to open. The fit and finish on this is not, oh, fuck, that was hard. Particularly easy, fun to deal with. Takes a lot of force to open this air can and get it secured back into place. So notice I did clean the shock off super good, because it's very common for shocks to leak oil once you open them up and put tokens in them. Suspension is a very difficult thing to work on, so let's get it mounted up. Okay. So it's a lot easier to move the knobs when it's off the bike, so I pulled it back off the bike, and we're going to use the trailhead app. We're going for 10 clicks of rebound, so I did count the rebound. We have 18 clicks of rebound, pretty similar to the last shock I did an hour ago. 234, so we're going to change the rear wheel travel to 160. So the bigger the rear wheel travel, the more air pressure it's recommending, even though it has to do with leverage of the bike, how that all works. So I'm going to say the bike has 170, so we're gonna go for 234, which is my body weight plus 30, but then we got to do the rebound. So they want you to move it to the full turtle, full slow or clockwise, and then count 10. 1, 10. So it makes your life a lot easier to take the rear wheel off, but if you're pretty swole, you can just hold the rear wheel up, line it all up. Whenever we're dealing with these high volume air cans, doesn't matter if it's Fox, RockShox, any other brand that makes it, you need to be exceptionally careful during the first initial setup, because a lot of times you'll find out they don't fit and they rub the frame and they cause some serious damage. The real danger with the Fox and the RockShox is this air filling valve can like gouge into things, so that's the reason I have 0 air inside of here. And I'm carefully watching that air filling valve. Okay, that's 100 PSI. So every 50 PSI, you gotta push this thing super deep into the travel. Depending on your frame alignment or fitment, whatever, Basically, you might have to unscrew the shock pump, so I'm gonna risk it and try to compress it. And you should get this little bit of a hissy noise. Like you filled it up without cycling it, it will do a violent top out. I'm not gonna demonstrate it because it's a pain in the ass to fix it. So if you did it wrong, it'll be like clunk, but this one's nice and smooth. So we're gonna check what I was at. We need a lot more pressure in this puppy. So I just lost another 50 PSI. It's hot in here. This is what we want to see. So this is right under 30% sag. And then I have the digital one to check the exact air pressure. The cheap one I was using before just has like a higher volume. And I'm trying not to break the digital one. Only use the digital one for fine-tune adjustments. So according to the Trailhead app, it was somewhere between 230 and 250, depending on how much rear wheel travel. So let's see what it took. So this is the reason RockShox aren't good for the big boys, because that is a lot of pressure way off the recommended numbers. And that boils back down to this frame kinematic. The rebound feels pretty fast. Like I would probably slow it down, but just jumping on the bike in the parking lot is kind of the all-telling feeling. Two faster than recommended. Two faster than recommended. So I always start out with the huck to flat. We're establishing the bottom out control. So a slow run. Oh my gosh. It's like perfect. 30% sag, 0 hydraulic bottom out. The shock's pretty much dialed. So I'm gonna try to hit the 3-foot huck to flat a little faster. If it's perfect, it's perfect. Sometimes you get lucky. Perfect. And then make a hypothesis of what's going to make the shock better, because right now it's a little bit unbalanced. Too many tokens, the bike's too progressive. I really enjoy this shock. It gave me so much pop through there. Now here's the problem with only having 4 clicks. Adding 2 clicks is 50% of the total range of adjustment, giving me like a jarring feeling when I land. I just wanted to test it out on this RockShox, and it's definitely not the right click. Okay, so the hydraulic bottom out, it's like too powerful in this. That's better than my X2 experience through there on the modern blue flow trails. Sometimes you get lucky, so I'm basically completely dialed with the compression in the middle setting, but I am trying to learn how to jump better, so the entire setup of the Vivid is going to be devoted to jumping or learning how to jump these steeper lips. And currently, the shock is not doing what I want it to do. We do have to understand that it has a large stanchion, so it's going to have a slower response time. Ideally, you would be like on a dirt jumper here, but got to learn how to jump the big e-bike. So thinking it's more due to my skill set not being very good, I ran through here a couple different times, making sure it wasn't my mediocre skill level, and it's definitely something to do with the suspension setup not working accurately. So I hope you watched the first video. Basically, suspension setup is traction and control. With steeper jumps, we need more control. We can achieve more control through more compression or slower rebound. So you don't want to move the rebound adjuster in the slower direction. So I'm going to give it a couple clicks of compression and try it again. The compression damping found inside of the modern RockShox products, let's just say it doesn't act like normal compression. So I knew exactly what I needed to do. So move the compression back into the middle setting and move the rebound knob. Every adjustment on the RockShox Vivid is a massive adjustment. So one click of rebound is like a day and night difference on this shock, and be very careful with that compression adjusters. Now this is par for the course with orifice style damping found inside of the RockShox Vivid Ultimate. It'll feel good on one trail and it won't feel good on the next one. But if you go to the first comment, I made a PDF setup guide so you can avoid the shortcomings of this shock.